Hi, Mike Wright here with Taxwright. I wanted to spend a few moments talking to you about a problem that I see frequently when working with clients that use QuickBooks Online and the automatic bank feeds to populate their accounts. Oftentimes, when you take a look at the dashboard that comes with your QBO, you'll see a difference between the QuickBooks balances and the bank's balances. Oftentimes those are not significant because they simply represent the lag time between when you make the entries and when they're actually cleared by the bank. But other times the problem can be quite severe. And the solution that I want to suggest to you today is the very simple solution of paying attention to the monthly bank statements which you receive either electronically or by mail. I know it seems like an old-fashioned way of doing things in an age when stuff can be downloaded almost instantly from the web, but it's the only way to be sure that the entries that are being used in the bookkeeping are accurate. So what we're going to do is look at a couple of items that you need to be aware of. It certainly isn't an exhaustive look, but it will indicate some of the things that make using the bank statement a practical use of your time. So give me a moment while I switch over to the screen showing the QuickBooks items. Okay, so here's the dashboard for Craig's Design and Landscaping Services, which is the sample company that QuickBooks gives us to use. And you will notice over here in the corner the bank accounts. It's on the screen's right. And it shows you the bank balances and what's in QuickBooks. And you'll notice a very big discrepancy here and not a very big discrepancy there. And again, another small discrepancy there. We're going to concentrate here on the checking account. So let's switch over to the review screen for the account. Here you'll see what we had on there before. The bank balance is a negative $36.21.93, and there's $1,201 showing in QuickBooks. Now, I do want to indicate that the negative balance in the bank is of concern because that would mean that the bank account is well and truly overdrawn. Whatever QuickBooks may have to say, there's certainly a problem with this company. And we're not troubleshooting that problem today. The problem we're troubleshooting is why doesn't QuickBooks also reflect the $3,621 overdraft? So let's go with that. So let's take a moment, and these are the items that are normally utilized in the review process. It's something that you should do each and every day. Generally speaking, if you do it each morning, it shouldn't take you more than 5 or 10 minutes to have this step completed. Let's go over then to the bank register. Normally you click on this link over here, but to save a little time, we're just going to pull it up from the computer, and there it is there. And what I want you to observe is the column where entries are reconciled. You'll notice that it's blank all the way up and down this item except for the opening balance, the equity account that put the first deposit in there. So that's what those look like. So let's go over, excuse me, and let's take a look at the various items that are here. These are items that need to be identified by naming what the category of the expense or the income should be. Here's an item that's got 2 records found that should match. One is an expense, one is a bill payment. The check is written to the payee as Pam Seitz, and that's the person that's listed on here. So we want to go ahead and make that match, which we now have done. And then we have some others farther down here that can just be matched. Here's a squeaky clean car wash payment, 2 records found. You'll notice both of these are either cash or debit purchases. Since it's a check debit, it would have been on the date that the expense was incurred. So that's the one that we want to accept. So we're going to match that. Now, many people will do this in 2 different ways, particularly if your accountant is the one that's reviewing this for you. The accountant may not know what the uncategorized expense or income source is. And so they may go ahead and accept or add these entries based upon the uncategorized nature of them, because it's always possible using the chart of accounts to go back and identify those and then transfer them into the proper account. However, if you know what the proper account is, then this is the opportunity that you have to go fix that. And as you'll recall, you simply click here in this area, and I apologize that it's running very slowly today. And you will see this place where you can modify the entry. And so you would put in here whatever account that came from. Get it up here to the top. And let's just call this maintenance and repair. Nope, that's a labor charge. We're not going to do that. Who's the payee here? This is Books by Bessie. Yeah, so we're doing some pest control services for Bessie. And then we add that, and that goes over there. At any rate, there are other items here that we would go through in order to do that. But I'm going to do a quick and dirty fix here. Click all of them, do the batch actions, accept the selected ones. And now you will notice that in QuickBooks we have a negative balance of $1567.46 compared to a negative bank balance of $3621.93. We're getting closer to the bank balance, but we're not there yet. Let's go back and look at the register now after giving it a refresh so that those entries that we've seen will come up. And here they are. So here's a payment from Books by Bessie for pest control services. That's actually a payment from Bessie. We have a backhoe service. That's an expense. We have all of these other items. Let's go down the list a little farther. Here's Pam Seitz. Remember the bookkeeper that, or the attorney rather, that we had the payment for. We go farther down. Here are deposits. But here's the thing to notice. As we go down the screen here, here's an item, Tanya's Nursery, which is not cleared. But it's very close to our current date, or the date we're working with, and so it probably simply has not cleared. Although, on the other hand, we've shown it here as a cash purchase. Now, is that a cash purchase where cash money was used? In which case, why was it entered in the checking account in QuickBooks. And so it's quite possible that it was misentered by the bookkeeper, whoever put it in. In fact, we'll see several cash purchases as we go down here, and some examination would be necessary to find out why that was the case. But here's the point. If you have something that's listed as a cash purchase and it did not run through the checking account, the only way you would know that is by being able to reconcile the bank account to see that that entry was never made. Now, typically speaking, you have to let things ride a month, maybe even two, because of the length of the time it takes a check or other transaction to clear. But once an item is farther along, you need to be able to come up with a solution as to why it's even in there. The other thing I want to point out, as we get farther down here, we're into more of these unentered transactions that are set up as gas purchases. And here's a check to Chin's Gas and Oil. Might be not cleared yet, but more cash purchases. Why are these even here? Why aren't they in either an expense account or shown as the category that they're in? Then we have this interesting situation here, and this goes back to April. Here are two tax payments that were made to the appropriate tax agencies, and I'll show you the detail here. If we edit that, it comes up and we see it was to the Board of Equalization, which I believe is California. It was done through the checking account, which is, so it is appropriate that that entry be, no, I don't want to delete that, I'm sorry, I want to make it go away. And I'm having trouble making it go away. There we go. And now I double clicked and now it's going to do something. It's going to bring it back, which of course I don't want. It's going to make me go away and then bring that back. There we go. And then put myself back in. Okay, I apologize for that. Well, my next question is, if it was through the checking account, it's in the right account, but it's May 26th or April 26th. Shouldn't that have cleared by now? So I would go back and double check the bank statements to make sure I didn't just overlook it, but there has to be some explanation for that. And we get farther along, we notice that there are fewer items that have cleared. So my point is that these questions cannot be answered without having the bank statement to be able to go through and clear up the ones that have simply been overlooked. Those that are duplicates need to be eliminated, and the ones that are yet to come obviously explain themselves as time goes on. So it's never a bad idea to go back and check your bank statements on a monthly basis as they come to you either in the mail or as they're made available by your bank online. It's a vital purpose that will help you deal with issues that come up in your account as time goes on. Until next time, Mike Wright with Taxwright.